Have you ever wondered what it would be like to step inside Fort Knox? Today, we're exploring the most fascinating Fort Knox facts, giving you an insider's look at this mysterious place. From its hidden escape tunnels to its role in popular culture, these facts will reveal both the public face and secret life of America's most secure vault. We'll explore intriguing details that have captured the imagination of millions, making you feel like you've actually been inside. Get ready to peel back the layers of mystery surrounding this legendary fortress and uncover its dual nature. Picture a fortress so secure, it's become synonymous with impenetrability. But what if this stronghold began as something entirely different? The story of Fort Knox is one of transformation, a tale of how a military training ground evolved into one of the most secure facilities in the world. In 1918, as the world was embroiled in the Great War, the United States Army established Camp Knox in Kentucky. Named after Major General Henry Knox, the first U.S. Secretary of War, this camp was designed to train soldiers in tank warfare. The rolling hills and varied terrain of Kentucky provided an ideal backdrop for simulating European battlefields where tanks were revolutionizing modern combat. As World War I ended, Camp Knox continued as a vital training facility. In 1932, it was renamed Fort Knox, signaling its transition from a temporary camp to a permanent military installation. This change foreshadowed a more significant shift in purpose, one that would redefine the fort's role in American history. The 1930s brought new challenges for the United States. The Great Depression had shaken the nation's economic foundations, and global tensions were rising once again. In this climate of uncertainty, a bold decision was made. Fort Knox would become the guardian of America's gold reserves. The choice of Fort Knox was strategic. Its inland location provided a natural barrier against potential invasions, while the surrounding mountainous terrain offered additional protection. The transformation from military base to financial fortress was a monumental undertaking. Engineers created a structure that was virtually impregnable, equipped with cutting-edge security measures and designed to withstand various threats. The first gold shipments arrived at Fort Knox in January 1937. Under the watchful eye of the U.S. Post Office Department. The sight of heavily guarded armored trains and trucks must have been extraordinary, a tangible sign that Fort Knox was no longer just a military base, but now home to an asset of immense national importance. This transformation didn't occur in isolation. The Gold Reserve Act of 1934 had set the stage, mandating the transfer of gold holdings to the U.S. Treasury. Fort Knox's new role in the nation's financial security was solidified, marking a pivotal moment in its history. The establishment of the gold vault sparked mixed reactions in surrounding communities. Local newspapers captured the pride in hosting such a significant national asset, alongside concerns about security implications. Fort Knox had become more than a local military base. It was now a focal point of national security and financial stability. As we reflect on Fort Knox's journey from tank training ground to gold vault, we see a remarkable adaptation to changing national needs. This transformation exemplifies how military installations can evolve, serving multiple crucial roles in a nation's defense and economic strategy. As World War II erupted across the globe, a new mission emerged for Fort Knox that would cement its place in American history. The Fortress of Gold was about to become the guardian of democracy itself. With the threat of enemy attacks on Washington, D.C. looming, the U.S. government faced an unprecedented challenge: how to protect the nation's most sacred documents. In a secret operation that reads like a Hollywood thriller, the original copies of the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Gettysburg Address were carefully prepared for their journey to Kentucky. These irreplaceable pieces of American heritage couldn't simply be tossed in a moving van. Instead, they were treated with the reverence and care befitting their status as the cornerstones of American democracy. Expert conservators meticulously packed these priceless documents into specially designed containers. The containers were first heated to drive out moisture. Then the documents were nestled in protective mineral wool and sealed in hermetically sealed cases, creating a fortress within a fortress. The vault at Fort Knox, designed to house cold, hard metal, now needed to accommodate these fragile treasures. Air conditioning units and calcium chloride dryers were installed to maintain perfect humidity levels. It was a race against time and nature to ensure these documents would survive not just the journey, but their stay in a vault never intended for such delicate items. As news of this extraordinary relocation spread, it captured the imagination of the American public. The symbolism was powerful. The very foundations of American democracy now rested alongside the nation's gold reserves. This juxtaposition of financial and ideological wealth spoke volumes about what the nation truly valued in its darkest hour. But the Constitution and Declaration of Independence weren't the only unexpected guests at Fort Knox during this tumultuous time. The vault also played host to the British Magna Carta and the Crown of St. Stephen, Hungary's Holy Crown. These international treasures highlighted Fort Knox's evolving role as not just a national treasure house, but an international one. In a twist that seems almost surreal, Fort Knox's vaults also became home to vast quantities of opium and morphine during the Cold War, ensuring a steady supply of pain medications for military use. The challenge of maintaining these diverse treasures can't be overstated. Gold bars don't mind a bit of jostling, but centuries-old documents require constant, delicate care. The staff at Fort Knox found themselves becoming impromptu conservators, learning on the fly how to balance the needs of their traditional metallic charges with these new paper and fabric guests. As the war came to an end and the immediate threat to Washington passed, plans were made to return the founding documents to their rightful home. But the impact of their stay at Fort Knox would linger in the American consciousness. Fort Knox was no longer just a storehouse of wealth, but a sanctuary for the very ideals that defined the nation. Fort Knox, a name that evokes images of impenetrable vaults and glittering gold, has long captivated the public imagination. But how much of what we think we know about this legendary fortress is rooted in reality, and how much is the product of Hollywood magic? Let's explore where fact ends and fiction begins in this modern-day Dragon's Lair. The transformation of Fort Knox from a military installation to a cultural icon is a fascinating journey. Its role in the public consciousness has evolved into a symbol of absolute security and unfathomable wealth. This metamorphosis owes much to its portrayal in popular culture, particularly in films and literature. Hollywood has played a significant role in shaping our perception of Fort Knox. From the audacious heist in Goldfinger to the fictional robbery in the asphalt jungle, these cinematic representations have cemented Fort Knox's status as the ultimate target for any self-respecting criminal mastermind. These portrayals have elevated Fort Knox beyond a mere place. It's now a concept, a benchmark against which all other security measures are judged. The phrase, "as secure as Fort Knox," has entered the American vernacular, becoming shorthand for unbreachable security. But what compels people to dream of breaching the world's most secure facility? These tales tap into our fascination with wealth, our desire to outsmart authority, and our love for the underdog triumphing against impossible odds. In a way, they serve as modern-day Robin Hood narratives, where cunning thieves take on the might of the government. Yet the reality of Fort Knox's security stands in stark contrast to these silver screen spectacles. No successful theft of gold from Fort Knox has ever occurred. The closest we've come to seeing inside the vault was during a partial audit conducted in 1974. This veil of secrecy has given birth to a plethora of conspiracy theories. Some claim the gold has been secretly sold off, while others insist the vault contains nothing but tungsten bricks painted to look like gold. These theories thrive on the limited access granted to outsiders and the infrequency of comprehensive audits. Interestingly, real-life attempts to breach Fort Knox's security, while not as dramatic as their fictional counterparts, have occurred. However, these have largely been authorized tests rather than criminal endeavors. The details of these security evaluations remain classified, adding another layer to the mystique surrounding the facility. This interplay between fact and fiction has created a Fort Knox of the mind, a place that exists as much in our imagination as it does in Kentucky. As we continue to speculate about what lies behind those impenetrable walls, one question remains. Could these myths be obscuring hidden truths about the vault? The allure of Fort Knox persists, a testament to our enduring fascination with the intersection of wealth, security, and the unknown. Fort Knox, a symbol of American strength and secrecy, continues to captivate our collective imagination. Its dual identity as a military installation and financial stronghold raises intriguing questions. What secrets lie within its impenetrable walls? Recent calls for a comprehensive audit have reignited public interest, with figures like Elon Musk and Senator Rand Paul advocating for transparency. As we contemplate Fort Knox's evolution from a tank training center to a hub of human resources, the mystery surrounding its gold reserves persists. In an era of increasing demands for government accountability, Fort Knox stands as a fascinating case study. Will its future involve greater openness, or will it remain a tightly sealed safe, guarding its secrets as closely as the precious metal in its vaults?